Until later.
Yeah, as you can see, Starfield is a game that had a lot of quality tests and checks. So whether you've been playing for a while or you're only able to play scarcely because you just got into college and you're trying to adjust to the new ways of life and responsibilities that you've never had before, I can guarantee that one of these tips will be helpful to you. Like you saw in the thumbnail, this goes for no matter where you are in Starfield. I highly recommend upgrading security and piloting. Now, whether or not your morals lie within stealing, you cannot lie that you find a lot of lockpicks throughout Starfield, and hey, if I'm in a setting where I need to survive, I'm going to be stealing, I'm going to be looting, and if you're missing something in your back pocket, it was probably me. It's not like the NPCs care much, or think at all, so I don't think it really... Yo, why is he just standing there? So I really don't think it matters. And as for piloting, the more you upgrade the skill, you'll be able to operate higher class ships. And with higher class ships, they come with upgrades such as more storage space, you'll have access to stronger weapons, not to mention that your grav drive is going to be bigger, so you'll be able to go farther distances when you grav jump. You'll get a lot more stuff from upgrading this one skill, and I highly recommend putting some points into it. Speaking of skills, if you were anything like me, you spent way too much time in the intro selection screen. But honestly, your starting background is not as important as you might think, because it really only gave you a head start into how you wanted to play the game. For example, if you wanted to lean more into shooting, or you wanted to do more melee-oriented combat, or you just like to see the world blow up around you. Your starting background gives you skills to start off in, but don't feel like you need to play that playstyle the whole way through. For instance, I started off as a bounty hunter, but I realized that hitting people over the head was extremely fun, and there's something really satisfying about weaving in and out of shots just to connect my knife to your head. One giant leap for man, and one knife to stupid, on your head. Why is he just floating there? For those who haven't started playing though, I would recommend getting Wanted as one of your traits that you start out with. The trait will give you more damage when you're low health, and between you and me, if you're playing on very hard to get legendary loot, you do not find heals like that. It is just not common. So at least you're getting more damage out of it, and you can also get new dialogue options as well. They'll understand what hard times look like. It's like both of you guys grew up from the Bronx. No one enjoys being in the Bronx. Aside from that though, there will be random mercenaries who pull up to try and kill you, so it's always free loot, free money. For all you know, they probably came from the Bronx too. For my next tip, I can't stress enough, do not forget about the fact that you can target lock when you're in ship battles. It's one of those things where they explain to you when you first get on a ship, and you hear it and you're like, oh, that's cool. Anyway. Raiding ships have easily been some of the most fun I've had on Starfield. I really love just raiding the ship and going coup on the crew. Ooh, wait, that was kind of hard. Coup on the crew. I'm gonna have to write that down. Coup on the crew. Nice. Just always remember to shoot your ballistic shots whenever you can when you target onto them on their engines so that you can always consistently dock ships when you fight them. So if you've been playing on very hard, which by the way you should be, not telling you how to play your game, coward, should have noticed these legendary enemies, which have chances to drop armor and weapons with modifiers on them. Like for example, this one makes your character sturdy, so it's pretty good for dancing builds. But better yet, they have the chance to drop legendary gear and weapons. But these drops will be randomized each time you kill them, so my advice is you make a quick save right before they're about to die, and then when you load in, you can kill them, see what they have. If they have something you want, great. If not, you can always reset. It's very efficient. Speaking of efficiency, I feel like you should always be looking to be well rested, and that happens when you go to sleep. I know, kinda crazy that you actually have to go to sleep as opposed to playing Starfield, but when you do that, you're gonna have a 10% XP bonus for free. For my fans with insomnia, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you do have to go to bed for this to work, but trust me, it is very helpful. This unfortunately took me some time to recognize, but if you want to upgrade any weapon skill tree, you can just go to a weaker planet that has low level enemies and farm them. All your kills are going to be going towards upgrading your skill tree, so if you want to max something out very quickly, you can do that. For example, I was doing that with my knife, and I was able to upgrade my dueling stat. As you can see, each kill went towards that progress bar. Speaking of melee weapons, did you know that there's actually two different types of attacks you can do with them? The light attack and the heavy attack are actually not the same, and you can tell because one of the attacks uses up your CO2 gauge while the other one does not. Aside from the power attacks obviously doing more damage, they're also great for doing sneak attacks. 3 times is a lot of damage if you really start to calc in the modifiers you have. For example, my knife... Side note, but who really dies like this? Like, why does the game just make your death as humiliating as possible? What is this? How did this happen to me? Like I was saying, your modifiers are also factored in when you do sneak attacks, so really make sure you're maximizing your damage before you engage a fight. So I know I mentioned before you should be playing on very hard at all times, but I have a confession to make. I do sometimes change the difficulty when I'm in Starship battles, but that is because the drops are actually going to be preloaded in whenever you are on a certain difficulty. So for example, if you enter a planet on very hard and you change your difficulty to easy, everything there is still going to have very hard drops while having the difficulty of very easy. So if you're struggling, I mean, no one's going to stop you from doing this. It's your game, again, coward. This is something that you can do in case you're struggling, but you still want the legendary drops. Just know that this is how all the females are going to look at you after they find out you lowered your difficulty. Did you know that you save more oxygen if you run and jump compared to running? I actually have a side-by-side test here, and you can see that not only do I make it there at the same time, but I actually save more than half of my O2 that I used when I was running. This works even better on low gravity planets because you can legit just recover all your O2 in the air by using your jetpack before you even get back on the ground, so you don't have to wait until your O2 recharges. Speaking of convenience, you actually don't have to go back to your ship when you're on a planet to leave the planet. You can just go to your menu and fly from there. And you can actually fast travel back to your ship. All you have to do is look in the direction of where your ship is while you're in your scan mode, and you can press the action button to fast travel to your ship. It's extremely convenient if you need to take a nap in your bed to restore your health, or if you want to put something in storage. Highly recommend doing this. For this one, and probably the one I found to be the most helpful, if you've ever been in a situation where you've had contraband on your ship and you were arrested for that contraband, there's actually some stuff that you can do. You don't have to give it up. When ships detect that you have contraband on you, you should always pay the fine, and I say that because you'll be able to make the money back. You can actually just steal the contraband right back. They are just not observant. So if you have a point into stealth, which I highly recommend having at least one because you straight up can't be hidden unless you have 1 point into it, what you can do is you can crouch, and when you have the meter above you that says that you're hidden, you can just go to the chest and take it right back out. For example, I picked up harvested organs. For some reason they were next to a toilet, which implies that the guy got bodied there and he got harvested while another guy was on the toilet. That's another level of disrespect, but that's not what I'm here to cover today. Well, I picked up my organs and I was fine. They didn't detect me. And what I was able to do after I got the contraband back is I was able to go to the Wolf Star system, and from there's going to be a trade authority. What this trade authority is going to do is pretty much be a general marketplace, but you can sell contraband to that place. The Wolf Star system is the place I know of right now. I'm sure there's many other places. It's Starfield. It's a field of stars. You can go find something else. But you can sell your contraband here, and this goes for anything. You can sell your items, weapons that you have in your cargo hold from your ship. You can sell any extra things that you don't need that's weighing you down. The trade authority is going to be very helpful for you. You're not going to be scanned when you're going into the Wolf system. So long as you don't have a bounty, you should be fine when you're going there. So with that, I appreciate all of you guys watching. If you found this helpful, subscribing is always appreciated, and I'll have another Starfield video here soon. Take care, love and light.